We are a party contract here on Z and B Live Unfiltered. Hello, everybody. Spicy time with my spicy co-host, Mr. Bricks O'Brien.
That tongue just goes. I had 9 hours of sleep last night, and I had no hat to wear this morning. So I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I am great. I've been waiting for this show for a while now. We knew eventually. We were just waiting. We were just like, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get some information. Stuff is finally gonna become official. We're gonna be able to talk about the things we want to talk about without diving into the leaks and the rumor, world and all that. So we can finally talk about specific stuff. So you bet your buttons. I am ready to. I'm fired up. I'm glad you got a lot of sleep because I couldn't sleep last night. I was so fired up. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about what we were going to talk about today on this episode.
Good week for you because you have the Star Wars news, but then also you finished your baby.
I finished my baby. I finished my white whale set, the Voltron.
What a satisfying feeling completing the white whale.
It was. I got a little. Thank God I wear these sunglasses things because it got a little dusty in the room yesterday live on Twitch as we kicked up. We turned on the Voltron theme song. I couldn't find a good version of it on Apple Music. Like it was all like remixes and things of it. Like I couldn't find the authentic 80s version, but I did find I really do like the rebooted Voltron shows theme. They did on Netflix. They did a reboot of that cartoon. It's a fantastic show. I can't remember how many seasons it lasted. It was like 2 or 3. And man, that was a really good show. But the theme for that show was really, really good. So that was kind of the theme. We just kind of turned that one on because we couldn't find the actual 80s version of it. But my God, what a great set. It was a little surprising, and we talk about this all the time. The Lego did not include a ton of stickers with this set, but they did include 5, and it was the numbers for the different lions, which I thought was odd. Because I felt like the tiles that they put those on could have been used for other purposes down the road for the years to follow. Speed champion sets, city sets for cars, race cars, whatever. Like you could find reasons or places to use the numbers if they had printed those pieces as opposed to stickers. But then they go and they print the mouthpiece, like the actual Voltron mouth. And I'm like, well, it's literally looked it up. It's never been used again. So they took the time to print that one piece as opposed to the numbers that could be used later on. And we shrug our shoulders like Brian just did. We shrug our shoulders and say, what are you supposed to, because they're not telling us anything. And we're going to get into more of that because there's some of that stuff coming up here and what we're going to be talking about today. But it was nice to finally just get Voltron done and put a big bow on him. And now apparently display case is the next step for Mr. Voltron here. So
gotta find a display case sponsor, man. It's got to happen. Z&B, we're on the lookout.
What was your white whale set? I can't remember what it was.
I said before I didn't really have a white whale because I was fortunate that I've gotten pretty much every set.
Yeah. You
Hashtag
lucky
privilege.
son of a gun.
I literally, in the hopes to fund a new computer, I went to my grandparents' house and from the vault, I got an entire 40-gallon bin worth of Lego sets I do not want. And in there is like the Silent Mary. I snagged your Barracuda Bay out of the wreckage there. There's Jabba's sail barge because I want a big one, a big one. A bunch of stuff. So yeah, I've gone through a lot. I did not get rid of my modulars or the Winter Village stuff, but it's funny. I'm slowly accumulating even more Lego Super Mario, that I have an entire like 4 foot tall stack of like store displays and sealed sets and open. And I'm like, yeah, that makes me happy. And then I look at all the Star Wars garbage and I'm like, man, this really agitates me. So less Star Wars garbage, more Super Mario. That's the play, along with a new computer.
There you go. There you go. I'm excited that all the bits and power and pixels and everything about to be pushing its way out of Mr. Bricks O'Brien's computer and onto the interwebs, both here
Yes,
on
sir.
YouTube and over on Twitch. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if
I felt a great
millions
disturbance, because you're
of
going to be spending.
wallets.
Yes, your wallet, not my wallet. I am spared.
Millions of wallets suddenly cried out in terror as all of the May the 4th be with you announcements were revealed for Lego. And then we were suddenly silenced with the realization of how much money we might have to be spending between May 1st and May 5th. And I shudder at the thought of how much is coming out, both on the brick side and even, by God, the printed and collectible side. So Lego hit us with a bunch of stuff. Finally, the biggest event in the galaxy returns, as Lego says, with May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. Now, obviously, May the 4th of May is what they're kind of centering it around, but the festivities will kick off on May 1st and run. I think a lot of the deals and stuff all kind of run through the 5th, but over the course of that weekend and stuff like that. Early releases for insiders, gift with purchases at different pricing thresholds, sets that celebrate the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, sets that celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, collectibles.
Where do you want to start on all of this? Because there's a different way you could tackle a bunch of this. Where do you want to start?
Oh my God. Well, I think we start big, right? I think we got to start big and then kind of move our way down to the itty bitty tiny teeny weeny whatever things here. So starting big, we're going to start with the big dog, the TIE Interceptor. I'm gonna let Brian cook for a minute, because I know he's got thoughts. I know he's got thoughts on this. And you can't come to the Star Wars. I'm literally in a Star Wars shirt right now. You know what I mean? You can't come to the Star Wars fan and expect a completely unbiased look at the sets coming out. So let's let Mr. Mario cook here and as he's surrounded by his Mario standees, and let him talk a little bit about his thoughts when the TIE Interceptor was announced.
Mario standees and children's book standees for my own intellectual property with Kevin. When I woke up on Monday, as you do, hopefully, I go on Instagram and I saw the teaser that they came out with of it's an Instagram reel, not even a teaser, debut. And it was all of the adults sitting in the chair, and they were making the noises that they do, as like children do, of like moving around the starship or whatever. I am man-child number one, surrounded by Lego, Mario, Nintendo, children's book stuff. I have never once in my adult years ever done the whole thing while having any Lego set ever. And I thought that was the dumbest reveal thing you could possibly do for your $240 Lego set that has come out. I don't think I've even done that as a kid, to be honest. Maybe I'm a Debbie Downer. Maybe I'm just so sophisticated that I haven't done things like that. I just haven't. And I thought it was just kind of dumb. I had a stone cold face as I watched these paid actors make noises with their tongue, which take for what you will.
They were trying to do the TIE Interceptor.
We're trying to be cheeky and very reminiscent of childhood nostalgia. I get it. I don't care. The TIE Interceptor is one of the last of these Lego Star Wars sets that were one of the first Ultimate Collector series to ever come out. And I'm glad it's over with. I think this is unbelievably boring, a safe choice, not something that I personally have ever wanted. I don't think necessarily even makes sense. Like with the X-Wing, yes, you want to remaster that for a third time because it's the X-Wing and you want to make it accessible. This thing here, I don't know of anybody in the past 10, 15 years that have been like, man, I really wish I had that TIE Interceptor, when there's so many other Lego Star Wars sets you can make an Ultimate Collector series of. But if you're in the habit of bringing back old stuff and making it at least accessible a little bit, TIE Interceptor is on the list, and one of the final ones is going to be the Naboo Starfighter, which I think should have taken the place in this one here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. So why did they choose to do this over literally anything else? I don't know, but I hope that the Naboo Starfighter is in September, or I really want that Jabba sail barge, but it wouldn't make any sense because Phantom Menace anniversary this year. So I am unbelievably indifferent, not even disappointed, just indifferent at another juicy gray triangle of a starship from Star Wars. Do not care. Not even a little bit.
Look, you know,
wait, let me say something real quick. Sorry. Oh. The only cool thing about this that I've heard, I don't know, fact check it, but the person who designed this was also the person who designed the original TIE Interceptor from way back in the day. That is cool.
Yes.
Otherwise, I do not give a single. There we go.
Sorry. I should just have my hand like resting on the board ready.
I don't do it often, but sometimes I do.
Ready to pounce. Look. We know my thoughts on a Phantom Menace tie-in UCS set. I've said it ad nauseum. Like, yeah, a Naboo Starfighter would have been spectacular. I think I mean, at that point, you're replacing a lot of gray pieces for a lot of yellow pieces or whatever, right? Okay. I still think I think a pod race. I think a pod racer would have been better.
It would be beautiful.
I think, and actually, I over on my Instagram, I was looking around last night, and I actually found somebody that had mocked up Sebulba's pod racer and a large UCS scale, and was kind of showing it off on camera. And I was like, here you go, right here, Lego. It's possible. And I was seeing all the like they were using whips and things for all the wiring going around the engines. And I was like, this is exactly what I've been talking about. Like, this is literally what I've been screaming for. This is what you make. This is how you, whatever. Okay. TIE Interceptor. My turn to cook.
Of course.
For a little bit here. Okay. This set makes no sense to me. This set makes absolutely no sense to me. I hate that they are releasing this on May 1st. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate.
Strong word.
That I love the design of this set.
Wow.
I love the design of this set. I think this is as far as Star Wars ships, Star Wars sets, large UCS sets goes, I think this set, from what I can see, the pieces that they're using, the way it's designed, everything about the set is amazing. I think they killed it with the design of the set. Obviously, yes, it's a big gray set. It's a big gray ship. That's what Star Wars was in the, back in the 70s and the 80s. That's what Star Wars was gray ships. Like, that's just what it was. So I can't fault them for making gray ships, because that's the source material. So I'm not going to be one of those gray ship haters. Um, Everything about it, the fact that you can kind of pick this thing up and swoosh it around, and I think more than anything, to me, when I saw the same video you saw, that was my takeaway from it. Wasn't the goofiness of these people trying to relive their childhood with the whatever. It was the fact that they made a giant UCS style ship that you could freaking swoosh around like the old sets that you used to play with as a kid. I thought that was really cool, that they're so confident, that the designer is so confident in his build, in his design. Yeah, you can pick this son of a gun up and just freaking fly it around and whatever, and nothing's falling off of it, and that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool, because a lot of these times these UCS sets, these larger style sets, are a little flimsy, a little fragile. You're kind of afraid to pick it up and whatever. This one looks like you can just kind of handle it as you want, and have a good time with it and relive that childhood. UCS TIE Interceptor stats on this bad boy: 1,931 pieces, going to retail for $239.99 US. The original was only 703 pieces and retailed for $100. That I've said this a lot about older Star Wars sets, back from 1999 onwards. This set that came out in the year 2000, this set was ugly. It was not a pretty set. And a lot of those old Star Wars sets just were. This one at least is beautiful. This one is a pretty model. This one is a very, very pretty model. And my God, the box art. Finally, they got somebody to take a picture for their box art to actually make the set look good, as opposed to that stubby picture that we got with the X-Wing last year. That thing was a turd. Like, that just, you saw the artwork for the X-Wing last year and you went, huh? This doesn't look right. This looks terrible. This doesn't look sleek. This doesn't look whatever. This set, from all the way from artwork to design, killed it. They really did kill it with this set. But I hate that this set is coming out on May 1st. I hate it. This is not a set for May 1st. This is not a set during the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars. This is not a set for the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. Those two anniversaries coincide. It's not even the 25th anniversary of when this set originally debuted. It's 24 years. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand the timing of this set. This set is stupid to come out right now. This set should be coming out next May. Not this May, next May. 25 years, give it to me 25 years later, next May, makes no sense. This set,
what they should have done was they should have swapped this with the X-Wing from last year. The X-Wing should have came out this year.
Was the X-Wing was first? The first X-Wing was 1999.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. I mean, like the X-Wing UCS revamp that came out last year. That should have taken the place of this. I don't know about when it first came out, but like,
I still say no. You got a 20.
Cool.
You have. Listen, if they release a Naboo Starfighter in freaking September, like, why? Like, at that point, you've completely missed the timing. You've missed the mark. It makes no sense. And if you have it ready in September, I guarantee you there was no reason you couldn't have it ready in May. That's if that was. I'm just throwing this out. I don't think that that's happening in September. But I just, like, it makes no sense if they release a UCS style Phantom Menace set later on this year. Somebody needs to be smacked, because that's inappropriate. They missed it. This was the month to do it. You're celebrating 20. The thing that brought Star Wars into Lego was the Phantom Menace 25 years ago. They coincide. So if you're going to release a flagship set, a UCS style set on the 25th anniversary, there's no, you have the roadmap, and you strategically chose not to follow it. And I don't get that. And I can't, nobody, I don't even care if the designer came on our show and tried to justify it. Nobody's gonna change my mind on this. Nobody. Because you can release this set anytime.
Literally anytime.
The Interceptor I mean, to me, the strategic would have been, okay, you want to do 25, release it next May. Release it 25 years from what, not 24. What, what that doesn't compute. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes, I love, like you said, I love that they brought the original designer back to redesign his own work and say, okay, you've got new pieces, you've got new building techniques, we've got new stuff that you can use. Let's improve on it, make it better. And I'm telling you right now, this set is gorgeous. This set is perfect. This set still has enough studs throughout, exposed studs to make it feel like Lego, enough anti-studs to make it feel like Lego, but then hides a lot of the other stuff as well, and is using stuff, just the greebling that you're going to be able to do with it. They've redesigned the plaque, so now it's a glossy plaque instead of a matte finish plaque, which I really, really like. That glossy plaque is going to feel more like the stickered plaques that you have already in your collection. It'll kind of blend more seamlessly that way, which I think is really, really cool. As opposed to those matte finish plaques that we've been getting since they started printing the plaques with the X-Wing last year. It's just not the right time, in my opinion, to be releasing this set. But
that being said, are you going to buy it?
Day one, baby, because I still think it's a beautiful set. I think it's a beautiful set. And there's more reason to buy it day one than just because you think it's a beautiful set. And we'll get into that as we go through our list. But it's all about those gift with purchases. This one set is going to push you across the threshold for all of the gift with purchases that Lego is releasing. So you don't have to buy, because like even if you bought all of the other sets, I don't think you hit. I think you're close, but I don't think you hit the mark, the cost mark,
Sure.
the $160 threshold to get all three gift with purchases. So this is the set to get if you're going to do that, unless you're already missing out on other Star Wars sets that are still available that came out, the R2D2, some of these other helmets that came out, whatever. Like if you're missing those and you haven't got those, okay, then, you don't have to rush out because this is going to be around for a while. Right. But if you're already a Star Wars fan and you need that one set, this will give you everything you need to hit those gift with purchases. We get a new TIE pilot with it, with arm printing. They included a cute little mouse droid, which I love. I think that was just an adorable little addition. Is it necessary? No, but I just think that's an adorable little addition. But you do get a new TIE pilot with some different arm printing and things like that on it. And it's a vast improvement on it. Now, there have already been people complaining about the price at $240 as opposed to $200. I don't know. You look at inflation. You look at the fact that the one that came out in 2000 was $100 at 700 pieces, and this one is $140 more at 1,200 more pieces. Cost makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I look at it and I go, okay, the cost makes sense. If you're going to give me 700 pieces at $100, and then you're going to give me 1,900 pieces at $240, I start to just shrug my shoulders at the cost and say, okay, it makes sense. But it's not the right time for this. They're doing a good job in celebrating the Phantom Menace.
Now they are, that we have the full unveiling of everything that we've seen, from the Infiltrator to the diorama. You have the droideka, but like a couple weeks ago, you were like, "Where are the Phantom Menace stuff?" And I was with you until now.
Right. So that's what that's what I don't understand is you're going to give me a bunch of Phantom Menace stuff, right? Smaller sets. you're obviously celebrating it. It's great. I just don't understand how you plan around your flagship set not to include these other sets. But I'll tell you right now, the Phantom Menace sets that they are pushing out are very interesting. They're designed relatively well. I had been asking for a pod racing diorama since the idea of a 25th anniversary celebrating Phantom Menace was kind of announced, right? And we're getting it. That diorama was a want for me, which was surprising. And there were a couple things that just really made me just go, why? Number one,
so
the cost.
go for it.
The cost. $80. And I know these dioramas are relatively that expensive for the most part. Especially now, again, inflation. But they had a perfect opportunity with this diorama to release a Anakin minifig to just be on display with it, and a Sebulba, the Sebulba mold that we've had before, to be on display with it. Not included, because obviously they're kind of miniature scale, right? I'm not saying make them whatever, make them part of it. But you could have just put them on the front, like on the actual border of it, of the diorama, just to include it. At that point, the price is a little bit easier to swallow. But at $80, we're not getting a single minifig, and for the first time in their Star Wars diorama history, we're getting stickers and not printed pieces on these sets. That's a shock. That's laziness. I don't understand that at all for these. So,
well, we have the Mos Espa pod race, which is the diorama, like you said, $80. This also coincides with the Droideka at $65. That includes a Droideka brick built alongside the 25th anniversary plaque, the standard plaque you would get with other models of that size. Then you get as you're seeing pictured here on the video version of the show, the Phantom Menace brickheads lineup, and then the Clone Commander Cody, which is not related, but that goes for $10. It's Cody, so whatever. I am not surprised by any of it at all. I think if you were to exemplify the Mos Espa pod race into a very small package, I think that would be the one and way you do it. It would be at that kind of micro scale. It reminds me of the they had years ago these planets that you would have as part of like a micro build on the inside that you could like buy and basically roll them around like marbles, and they end up in like a throwaway bin. They are. I think it's okay. I'm not as against it as you are, but then again, I don't want a pod racer UCS as much as you want to at this point. Like, you are clearly the guy that wants that to exemplify Phantom Menace. So I'm mostly disappointed regarding Phantom Menace stuff. You know, we don't have a Jar Jar minifigure anywhere. We have him in brickhead form. We got Darth Maul. But like, if you're going with iconic characters and making them accessible, you got Qui-Gon, Maul, Jar Jar would be one, right? Like, to maybe a new Padme, right? You have Queen Amidala. So
I mean, and the Queen Amidala in that particular style minifig is very
big
expensive. Big money on the secondary brand. And so is, by the way, that 2000 TIE Interceptor. You're looking, if you want a brand new one in box, you're close to $1,000 US on that,
crazy
on that 2,700 piece TIE Interceptor, which is just bananas. But yeah, I'm a Brickheads fan, so I love seeing all the Brickheads like this. I think this is a great, like, this reminds me of the indoor set that we got, last year. And this was a big surprise to me. And I was when this dropped, I was very, very excited about the Brickheads. And I mean, I am excited about I'm going to eventually get the diorama, because I think it's a very cool way to capture one of the most exciting moments from that 1999 movie. But um, it's not day one for me, not anymore. And that was surprising to me. I thought, looking at it originally, I thought, oh, that's or with the idea of, if they released a set like that, I would have purchased that day one. Like, that would have been a day one thing for me, but it's not. And which is fine, because as expensive at $240 as the Interceptor is, that at least is something I can get day one, and I can wait on a lot of these other things, which is good for my wallet and my bank, and my bank account. But same thing with the Cody Brickhead. The Cody Brickhead is an odd choice to just release all of a sudden. Like, it's just kind of like, here's Commander Cody in Brickhead form. Random, whatever.
Sure.
What I find interesting about all of these sets that they're pushing out, Interceptor, the Brickheads, the Mos Espa pod race, the Droideka, none of these are pre-order or available for pre-order. The one that's available for pre-order is that freaking Sith Infiltrator set that the kids would want, right? Most adults, AFOLs, could care less about that Sith Infiltrator, right? So for whatever reason, they made the one that will probably sell the least, maybe, the one that's available for pre-order, as opposed to getting ahead of the game once again and making sure that pre-orders their supply can meet the demand for pre-orders on some of the larger AFOL style sets. And I just like the sticker thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand where the logic is. I'm not sure who's making these decisions as to why pre-order versus no pre-order. But you could secure, at that point, exactly how many gift purchases that they need to make sure they have in supply and ready to rock and roll out the door. And they're not doing that, and I don't understand it. But all three of these Phantom Menace sets, the Brickheads, the Diorama, and the Droideka, are very nice. They really, really are. I'm poo-pooing a little bit on the Diorama, mainly because of the lack of the figures and the amount of stickers that you get for the price that you have to pay for that set. That's really my only complaint about it. But overall, I think it's great. And the Droideka is cool because it will fold up and it can be turned back into a little rolling ball thing. And you and I even talked about maybe that could have been a really cool UCS style, larger set kind of thing. But
it's kind of what this is here in scale with like Chewbacca and all that.
Yeah, it's kind of BD1 size, right? And
it does a job. I don't think if you made the Droideka any more expensive, that more people would buy it because it's more detailed. I think you'd get less people buying it because who wants to buy $100 Droideka? Mm-hmm. I think 65 is appropriate for a character an entity like this. R2D2 is justified at 100 as the main character.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I think the Droideka is really cool. Actually, which was funny because I never would have thought going into this. Obviously, I had hopes about them doing a pod racing diorama. I thought that would have been really cool. I'm still surprised we didn't get a second diorama of the Duel of the Fates with a Qui-Gon, an Obi-Wan, and a Darth Maul with the two giant reactors behind them, on the catwalk kind of thing. And that includes some minifigs there, so you can kind of scratch that minifig itch if you needed it or whatever. It still ties into the thing. So I feel like there were more opportunities for more dioramas. Once again, kind of missed out on. Don't really understand, not sure what, because you can't tell me they have geniuses working for Lego, designing Lego. So you can't tell me these guys haven't thought of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's gotta be there. But that being said, they are releasing, some of these same figures with with that Sith infiltrator kind of thing, right? So you could have almost had some of the same heads and bodies, just minus the whatever you call it, the cloth clothing. What the hell is it called?
Whatever it is, yeah.
Whatever it is. You could have had that. So you already had a lot of the figures there for that. So like, let's say adults wanted to miss out on the infiltrator. You could have gotten your Qui-Gon and your Darth Maul and an Obi-Wan with a diorama, and then not had to worry about the infiltrator at all, right? And kind of chose that $80 set versus the infiltrator set kind of thing. Just
Makes it
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Too convenient to have all those figures in one spot for people to buy.
And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But for the sets that we are getting, the Droideka is my second favorite. The Brickheads are my first. When I saw these Brickheads, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for these. And I never would have thought, if you had told me that they were going to be releasing a pod racing diorama, that it would be at the bottom of my list of desirability from a fresh line of Star Wars stuff. And it is. And that's disappointing to me that's where that falls. That's a bummer.
I'm happy I get to sit back in my chair and not spend any money on May 1st. Now, when it comes to July, apparently, we have a different story. And this has gotten a lot of the Star Wars people a little up in arms, Mr. Rutledge. I don't know how you feel about this one. Our next little itty bitty topic we got going on over here. But it's a juicy one. Want to talk about expensive things from Lego Star Wars? Boy, howdy. Do we have something new for you? May I indulge on what this whole thing is here?
Please.
So last week, I believe, we talked about how there's going to be a new minifigure-centric look back encyclopedia, whatever, on Lego Star Wars, celebrating whatever.
Right.
Includes a Darth Maul minifigure, whatever. And I said what I wanted was a more comprehensive look back book, a piece of media about all of Lego Star Wars, behind the scenes, unreleased, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what this is. The Force of Creativity. It is a coffee table book. It is a retrospective, a deep dive, deep look back at Lego Star Wars. More so than I think a lot of people have ever seen before. Features on the very front cover, the Ultimate Collector's Millennium Falcon. It is a book along with, you call them book plates, they're just prints of all different design documents and all the juicy info you could want that Lego has or has not released before. And if you've ever wanted to talk to like a Lego designer or somebody from the company about, hey, real talk, what's the stuff that made it? What's the stuff that didn't? How did you get from point A to point B? And you're not privileged enough to be in the Ambassador Network or go to Denmark to go to Scareback and whatever. This is a way to get your deep dive info on stuff. And for me, this is exactly what I want out of a thing like this. One of the documents on the listing on Lego.com, it shows a gentleman holding, it's a lady holding a print of 4 different micro figures from Lego Star Wars of Palpatine, which we've seen before, but then Cody, Leia, and Darth Vader. A micro Darth Vader, how sick would that be? But they've never made it. Not in that way, not in that form. The main point of contention with this, Mr. Rutledge, the retail price on this book is $149.99, 150 bones in the United States, other prices around the world, obviously. I am a guy who is very biased on this specifically because I have books and I know what it takes to put the thing into the thing and put it all together. So share with me your top level view on it, and then we're gonna reverse the role from the Interceptor here. I want your deep dive opinion before I speak on this matter.
I think a book like this is a spectacular thing to do for celebrating 25 years. You want to talk about timely? Here you go. Finally, you nailed the timing. What a great time to release a book like this, a coffee table style book, 312 pages of goody inside this thing, with a lot of stuff, interviews with more than 50 insiders, designers from both the Lego Group and Lucasfilm. So I'm hoping maybe we finally get some of these insights to why decisions were made the way they were made. Hey, we decided not to do a UCS Phantom Menace set in 2024 because of X reason. We're not going to get that in the book, by the way. I wonder / worry how much of it will really be a lot of company fluff versus real information.
This is all fluff. I mean,
well,
it's printed media.
Right, it's printed media. I know. I understand. It's nice when sometimes a company is secure enough in their decisions that they've made that they let people in interviews say real things. And I've listened to and read interviews with designers in the past, and listened to the spin that they put on questions, simple questions.
Oh yeah,
of why a sticker versus a printed piece, and things like that. Simple questions.
It happens everywhere too. All right, corporate America, everywhere.
It does. So I don't think, even out of 312 pages, I don't know if I'm prepared to glean any great new information as to why something wasn't made versus another thing that was. And that's kind of what worries me, is that you are going to be buying a premium item for lackluster information. That includes lackluster information. And I'm curious to see what, after you spend the money, what the response is. Now, will somebody spend the money on this? You bet your buttons people are going to be spending their money on this. And that's the problem with this book, is if you have an inkling and a small sliver of desire that you might have at one point in time in your life want this book on your coffee table, you got to buy it day one. You got to pre-order it. It's not even available for purchase. It's just it's available for pre-order on May 1st. You got to get it May 1st. You cannot hesitate. And you got to get it early. You have to pre-order this book before you buy your TIE Interceptor. Period. You have to. Excuse me, because there are so many people in the world right now, collectors and whatnot, that are going to go bananas over something like this, and it's going to sell out. It's going to be gone. And then you think $150 US was expensive? Give it a month, check eBay, and let me know what you think then, because it's going to get nasty out there. So even if there was a remote chance that you might want this book and you have the money to do so, you gotta pull the trigger on it first, early, and get it in that cart. Again, this is for pre-order only. The book won't even become available until
July 20th.
July 20th. Here's the real kick in the shorts, Mr. Bricks O'Brien. It does not count towards your gift with purchase at all.
Okay.
So let's say you're like, oh, well, I'm going to spend $150 on this, and then I'll get the Cody Brickhead for $160. Boom, I've got all three gift purchases. Nope. Nothing. Not a penny of that goes to your gift with purchase.
I have a very unique perspective on all this. For me personally, if I'm buying this, I don't care about the gift with purchases. Me personally, no, it would end up being a giveaway on my Twitch
We've talked
channel
about this
or anywhere
before.
else.
The gift purchases are always a cherry on top kind of thing. You know, it's an extra. If you're going to buy the set anyway, you're going to buy the set anyway. It's just the gift of purchases are a way to force you, in a way, sometimes to getting it early. Spending the money faster than maybe you had intended. But really, if you're going to buy the set, you're going to buy the set. That gift with purchase is not going to make or break you buying that set.
With this, I mean, the book is already printed and done. They have it featured in pictures here. Why they're choosing to release it in July and have it for pre-order right now instead of just making it available right now, I don't know. Maybe that's just, you know, similar with Pro Gamer's Guide. It's shipping from a container overseas and taking forever. Stuff like this takes a very long time. And I print, you know, I don't physically print them, but I order picture books, which are fairly not comprehensive compared to this. This takes a lot of time and effort to put a lot of stuff like this together. Even just putting like the images on the pages with the text, and for all of the book, 300 pages, a literal lifetime. I don't even want to imagine the team that took care of that. I fully understand the appeal of having like this behind the scenes look. And even on one of these pictures that you may be able to see on the Lego website, it shows the Rebel helmet and then the first iterations of the Stormtrooper and the Boba Fett helmet and how they compare to the ones that are actually out now. And I find that stuff all super interesting. And like I mentioned, I believe it was last week, like I've seen in the background of videos, like these unreleased Lego sets and stuff that were coming out. There's another shot in here where it shows what a super battle droid Lego set would look like. And also a canceled AT, whatever it's called, with the blue clone trooper. Like there's canceled stuff in here. So like that's super cool. I really want this. And what I would really love to do, and I don't put, you know, Lego on my wish list on Throne because I got other stuff to focus on and whatever. But this is something I would put on like a crowdfundable wish list. So that way I could get a copy of the book, but then I can be the one to go through it and do an entire ZMB Live Unfiltered episode of, hey, this is the whole behind the scenes. And like, these are like the top 10 things from this book that you need to know and why you should have this book and have it as part of your collection, because I love this stuff. And I'm a book guy, clearly. So I would not be opposed to I mean, we could talk about that concept of an episode after the show, but I think it's super interesting looking on all this stuff. And even if you're getting corporate fluff, it's still really cool. Like you get behind the scenes look on canceled stuff. That's just cool. And if like I could be the one, I'm not going to show, you know, scan the entire book because that's illegal. But like I can show some pictures and like a behind the scenes of stuff, and that's fine. So I'm all about it. I think 150 is very expensive. It's super, super expensive. It should be
That's the question.
It should be 100 or 75.
You love books like this. We you know, a lot of us love books like this, but $150.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is like the end all be all behind the scenes of Lego Star Wars for the entirety that it's existed. It's taking all of those minifigure books that you have and right all into one giant package.
You said something last week though that I'm going to point out for this. The second this comes out, it's outdated. Now it is a retrospect, but so are all the visual dictionaries that come with our little Darth Maul minifig. And you said it last week. Those are outdated the second they hit the shelves. And so will this be.
But this has the benefit of this is it has like the canceled stuff and behind the scenes development. Right. So like that to me has more value and makes it way more valuable than just like, here's the retail product you can already look at a picture of on Google. Like that's essentially what those minifigure books are. Let's call a spade a spade. So yeah, I mean, could they have included like a couple minifigures with this to make it really spicy? Yeah, but I think it would take away from like the premium feel that this is supposed to have. This is like when you buy the ultimate edition of Harry Potter with like the leather bound casing and you know, whatever. They're not going to include a plush Hedwig with it, right? It's gonna be a nice thing. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to sell out. I mean, when you produce a book like this, you're not producing 1,000 of them. You're doing like 10,000. Like
Well,
I just don't see 10,000 people day one pre-ordering and making it a thing.
I wonder if they have finally are doing what we literally just talked about and are saying we're going to do pre-orders on this so we can print as we need them, as opposed to a number, a run of whatever. Because that's been my complaint with these with sets that sell out and whatnot, and the gift with purchases and the mimic, whatever, is not having enough when pre-orders could have kind of said, well, you need this amount. That why else are you offering up pre-orders on May 1st and not shipping until July 20th?
So, okay, let me give you context. So, Pro Gamer's Guide, again, we're talking apples and oranges here, but I'm just saying like relatively, right? That the book is supposed to arrive late May, early June. And this book ships, like 2 months afterward. Totally different scale, totally whatever. It takes about, generally speaking, 12 weeks from the moment you press the button to it going to a warehouse to then kind of go out wherever. 12 weeks, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So you're there right now. So maybe Lego could have said, all right, we know we're going to print 10,000 of them. How many pre-orders are we going to get in the first 72 hours that we need to tack onto this order with this factory overseas to justify the pre-orders and have it hit our distribution warehouse? But there's a real possibility that there's an order already placed and it just takes a long time to print. It doesn't take as long to make a Lego set. That takes way longer because you're designing it and refining it, whatever. But it very well could be already printing as we speak, and then it's just a matter of time. I don't know if the pre-orders have anything to do with the number that are going to be initially ordered, but they're cutting it. They're like cutting it close.
It's
what I
just
can tell.
odd that they would offer up a pre-order for as long as what they're planning on. I mean, to start it May 1st and it not be shipping until July.
Well, they're trying to get people like roped in on the hype and like, oh, Star Wars is on the brain, because otherwise you would have just saved it for September with whatever comes out at that time of the year. And then what would be really cool for, the book nerd is like, all right, this is a part of the Christmas gift. Here's a $500 whatever, and then this Force for Creativity book. Like,
I'll be waiting to see what happens on May 2nd. If you go to click on this book for pre-order and it, all of a sudden the pre-order button's gone. I'm going to be very curious to see, because I feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen within the first 24 hours. Like if they really do have a limited number, because they're not disclosing this information. Like if they really do have a limited number, they don't say anywhere. While you've been talking, I've been looking through the FAQ here on this book, and they don't say anything about it being a limited edition or limited run or limited series or whatever. It's, so in theory, yeah, it would be really, really nice to just, have it always kind of be available until they are done selling it, like, any other Lego set or whatever out there. But I mean, we've seen stuff go. Look at, and I know again, it's a much different thing, but look at the printed copies of the Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
And this will be way bigger than that.
Gone, baby. You know what I mean? And I'm just, if they're going to put a limited run on that, I don't know. It just, that tends to be their MO. Is they tend to put limited runs on things like this. The larger collectible things, they tend to kind of limit and say, we're going to make them kind of exclusive. And if you want it, you got to get it early. I do find it interesting that they are completely eliminating this from, the gift with purchase threshold, but it is a pre-order. So that has something to do with that, I'm sure. As opposed to, being able to walk away with it. The book itself, from the images and stuff we've seen, it's beautiful. This book is beautiful. And I cannot wait to buy this. I can't wait to buy this. And it sucks that I'm going to have to spend that kind of money to buy this, but I'm going to go sell a kidney or something, for that. You know what? The Ferrari book is another prime example of this. That the book that they released with that Technic Ferrari, can't get it. that was a limited run.
I am more interested in this book than I have been in any Lego Star Wars set that's come out in the past 4 years.
And that's what's dangerous about this, is that there's going to be a lot of people like that are like, oh my gosh, like if you're just into the behind the scenes kind of thing, we see a lot of people in our live chat talking about the behind the scenes kind of stuff, and they're really into that kind of style. It's a very big heavy sticker price shock to swallow, but I think we're going to have people that even don't collect all of the Lego Star Wars stuff still want this book, like people like you. And we already saw the Ferrari as a prime example here. People selling out those books, and you can't get them, and they're $400 on eBay. And so I'll be shocked if they don't have a limited run on this, and people are going to buy it up and whatever. I don't think they should, because a lot of us have been waiting on a book like this for years. This is literally 25 years in the making, and I think that's amazing. So yeah,
talking about it makes me want it more.
I know.
It's cool. It's just cool. Shout out to all the bozos, Lego Star Wars fan who are like, "Why would you ever pay $150 for a book? That's stupid." That's why. It's cool.
It's cool. There could be a lot of really, really neat stuff in that. And, like I said, that does not tie into any of the threshold that you need for the gift with purchases. But we do have some really, really neat gift with purchases that you can get. So, like I said, I think the Interceptor is the way to go. I will point out, somebody in our live chat said that they don't stack. I've been looking at all the fine print while we've been live, and I have not seen anything about that they won't stack. Lego doesn't typically not let them stack, so I would be shocked if these do not stack. Typically, from the information I've seen from people on the land have put in their videos and things, the Interceptor will get you all of the gift with purchases that are coming out. So you're going to get that Trade Federation transport, you're going to get that Battle of Yavin coin, and you're going to get the AAT poly bag, which is actually currently even on shelves right now at Target if you want to get it.
That Star Wars print for 1800 is really cool. A lot of those prints are generally lame, but that's pretty cool.
They do have, for insider points, 1800 insider points is what Brian's referring to. They are going to be releasing a Star Wars print with a ton of the Lego Star Wars characters.
They put the classic General Grievous on that print from 2005.
Yeah, it's a very cool print.
They put Darth Revan on that print. They put the classic Chewbacca. Wow, that's even cooler than I thought. I want that. Dude, I'm such a loser. I want the book and I want the print. I don't even want Lego Star Wars sets anymore. I want all the memorabilia. I don't want any of this garbage.
Hey, I'm telling you, when you have this stuff available with your insider points, I mean, that's being a Lego insider, signing up for it's free, folks. Do it. You're going to get early access to these sets, and you're going to get access to these fun collectible things. I don't normally collect the prints
on here.
I'm going to get this print. This print is dope.
This is sick.
Yeah. This print's going to be framed, hung up on a wall. This print is dope.
Dude, and it's not just like prequel, it's not just sequel, it's not just The Mandalorian and Grow. This is all different. This is sick. This is sick. Job. I want this. Yeah.
So Lego.com.
Hold on. They got Jedi Bob on here, man. This is.
Go to Lego.com.
Whoever decided to put this print out in this, you have redeemed every horrific decision you've ever made at Lego Star Wars. That print itself is sick. I want that. So sick.
Head to Lego.com. You can see all this stuff. They have it under the Star Wars heading. They have a countdown clock to May the 4th be with you weekend and things. And I'm be curious to see in the comments here on YouTube what you guys are going to be buying, if anything, on May 1st. If you're going to be buying the book, if you're going to be, using your insider points for the print. Brian's still looking at the print. Brian can't stop looking at the print.
Like, is that classic Boba Fett? What?
He can't stop looking at the print. He's obsessed
It's
with
so
the print.
cool.
So yeah, we want to hear.
Jar Jar's on here.
Oh
Hey,
my
close out the
God.
show.
He can't stop.
Close out the show. We're done.
He
We're
can't
done.
stop with this.
I know.
I am very, as much as I'm hating on the Interceptor for the timing of it, I'm very much in love with the Interceptor itself. I'm very much in love with all of the sets they've got coming out, Star Wars related, Phantom Menace related, coming out. And the book, my God, it's just, get your wallets ready for May 1st, because it's gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt, but be strategic with it. You don't have to get all this stuff on day one. A lot of the sets, especially, are going to be available going forward. That gift with purchase, though, that transport, get that thing. If you can get to the $160 threshold, that is a gift with purchase. Just looking at it, I don't think you're going to want to miss out on. So if you are a collector, if you are a Star Wars collector, especially when it comes to Lego, I think you're going to want to try to figure out a way to hit that $160 thread. You're not going to want to miss out on that one. Okay? That's my word of advice to everybody. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you for another fantastic show and a deep dive into these May the 4th be with you sets. I really appreciate it. Where can the kids find you on the internet?
You can find me anywhere content is being produced, including YouTube, Twitch, Roku, Kidoodle, Instagram, Facebook. Anywhere that you could possibly exist, I probably exist in some capacity. So join me there, especially on Twitch, as we're marching toward a lot of really cool events popping up in the next couple months, man.
Yep. You're going to find me over on Twitch as well, building these Star Wars sets, I guarantee, especially that TIE Interceptor day one. Cannot wait. And you can find me all over the web. Zach M. Rutledge, anywhere, everywhere, including your dreams, baby. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you so much for being here. Once again, ZMB Live, Unfiltered, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, over on YouTube. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere, everywhere you can find us on the net. Reach out to us. Say hi. We'd love to hear from you. Until next Wednesday, everybody. Peace.